Exxon to pay for excess flaring. Health Ministry says mask up or vax up. And top cop defends appointing civilians to head police PR department. I am Noriko Bulford, and welcome to tonight's edition of Uncut News. Before we begin, do you have something important you want to leak without revealing your identity? Send us a tip on WhatsApp on telephone number 659-6151. Starting from today, Exxon agrees to pay the EPA US $30 per ton of excess carbon dioxide equivalent emitted by the Liza Destiny. This comes after months of flaring due to a damaged gas compressor on the vessel. A press release from the EPA noted that the environmental permit for the Liza 1 development project was recalled and modified to include specific regulatory requirements for flaring of associated gas. This, the press release noted, is being done in accordance with the EPA's legislation. This morning, Trevor Ben was slapped with a third misconduct in public office charge. This one was in relation to the Mandela Avenue land deal made with Sevon's Waste Management for $80 million. Ben was not required to plead to the charge. He was released on $100,000 bail and will be back in court June 18th. Ben is also facing charges in relation to the sale of state lands in Ogle and Plantation Rumfeld, counting for the other two charges he's currently facing. It took a deadly worldwide plague, but finally the Ministry of Education is considering the elimination of the National Grade 6 Assessment. Priya Manikchan said that the Education Ministry is exploring whether they should drop the test and instead focus their energies on ensuring an equal delivery of education across the board. According to the Education Minister, this involves making sure each school has enough trained teachers and proper facilities. But the better question to ask is, why didn't they have either of these in the first place? I mean, come on, why is there such elitism in education? And you wonder why the poor people still say dumb and poor. The American CDC recently announced that fully vaccinated persons can stop wearing masks. So, in a classic case of monkey see, monkey do, the Health Ministry here has announced that if enough Guyanese are vaccinated, then they can loosen up some of the restrictions on the public, including not having to wear masks. While recognizing that the situation here is a bit different than up in Biden country, he still noted that nevertheless, the faster we immunize the population, the faster we can return to some sense of normalcy. Some 163,534 persons have received their first dose of the Rona shot, representing some 33.6% of the adult population. Frankly, I don't care what the CDC says. Vaccine or not, I'm going to continue wearing my mask and keeping my distance. This is Best Buy's car of the day. On sale is this 2015 Audi A3 luxury sedan. It comes with push-button start, LED lights, fog lamps, mug rims, new tires, Bluetooth, DVD stereo, reverse camera, and much more. Buy cash for $4.6 million, or pay down as low as $920,000 down with around $88,000 monthly, and it's yours. Call or WhatsApp 662-0844 for more info, or visit the showrooms at Lot 171 Peter Rowe Street, Queenstown, or Lot 2 Lamar Street, and tell them Noriko sent you for this sweet deal. And by the way, you people with duty-free could get this for just $3.1 million. Just saying. 3 persons in Karuru were arrested after hacking to death with a cutlass 38-year-old minibus driver Marcus Thomas on Tuesday. These suspects are said to be family members of the man's ex-wife. The feud between Thomas and the men reportedly began after he caught his wife being unfaithful. Since then, the woman's family reportedly continued to threaten the bus driver's life after having attacked him last in August of last year. The two were arrested and subsequently released on bail. This time, 3 men were arrested in Parika, and they are currently awaiting official charges. In January of this year, Hunter Street in All Boys Town was closed in order to facilitate its expansion. Well, after months of work, this week the Public Works Ministry recommissioned the newly widened street, complete with an additional 3rd lane. Ooh, wow, how nice. But it hasn't been a full week since its recommissioning, and already a serious accident has occurred on this short stretch of road. According to reports, the driver of the overturned Toyota Rush seen here was speeding at the time when they hit the newly installed speed bump in the road. But for some stupid reason, the crosswalk is actually over the speed bump, so I can understand why he may have not seen it. Nevertheless, the driver was taken to the hospital for medical treatment. This morning, 42-year-old construction worker Sean Archibald was placed on $50,000 bail for breaking and entering and larceny. He pleaded not guilty and is expected back in court on June 4th. However, he wasn't the only thief to face the courts today. 41-year-old defender Sherwin Shapiro was charged with stealing from the home of a 71-year-old lady. He pleaded not guilty and was placed on $40,000 bail. He too will be back in court June 4th. Do you want to grow your money? Sell digital top-up. Become a top-up vendor through Cellular Plus and make some extra cash to supplement your income at your business or your side hustle. Call 685-3109 for more info. It's now time for today's Rona Report. Today, the nation recorded 143 new cases. There are now 335 persons dead, 14 persons in the ICU, 1,692 persons in home isolation, and the total number of confirmed cases in the nation now stands at 14,988. Yes, just a few shy of 15,000. So, please, people, wash your hands frequently. Avoid touching your nose and mouth and mask up before you leave the house. When you do leave home, try to avoid enclosed spaces and large crowds. And remember to give 6 feet of space between you and others. Speaking of the Rona, health authorities in Region 9 suspect that the Brazilian variant of the Rona is circulating in Guyana. Region 9 Chairman Brian Alcock said that while there is yet to be official confirmation of that, it is becoming clear that the variant might be circulating in Region 9, if not the entire country. He stated that initial suspicions had stemmed from clinical observations of an increase in cases that were more contagious and severe than the last outbreak in the region. Unfortunately, we may not get the answer to this question anytime soon, as the health ministry currently does not possess the equipment to accurately identify the specific strain. According to the GRA, by July of this year, the government is expected to begin registering vehicles under the PAB series. The current PZZ series began in September of last year and will end when 9,999 vehicles have been registered under that specific series. Thus far, 8,000 have been registered, and at this rate, the GRA expects the series to end by July. Are you a truck owner that's losing money due to downtime while you wait for your parts to be imported? Now that is just stupid. Truck parts are already in Guyana at Powered Automotive Truck Spares and Engine Parts. They stock spares for DAF, Bedford TM, International Freightliners, and Cummins engines. Check them out at 1161 EE Eccles or WhatsApp them on telephone number 6970171. Tell them Mariko sent you and get a discount. And now for our stupid news of the day. In February of this year, the police force decided for some stupid reason to replace the head of the police PR department with civilians who have absolutely no police background whatsoever. Former head of the government propaganda rag, Mark Ramatar, and former government propaganda broadcaster Stan Gavaya have been poorly leading the police force's communication department, which has been causing headaches for media practitioners. Since they've taken over, the police have adopted an even more contradictory nature when talking to the media. It was already difficult to get facts from them, but now it's gotten even worse. In fact, they now only tell us half-truths and refuse to ever respond to media scrutiny. In fact, for the past 2 days, the police literally have not released one crime report, despite the fact that crime is clearly continuing throughout the nation. Worse yet, current police commissioner Nigel Hoppy defended the appointment, claiming that it was actually the British idea. Yes, seriously. In 2019, 2 random consultants with no direct police experience gave a list of recommendations. One of them recommended that civilians should lead the PR team. So, that means that out of the long list of things the police could do to improve their performance and their public image, they decided to go with this stupid recommendation. But my question is, why? They claim that it is to increase transparency. But does it? can you reasonably expect transparency from politically connected civilians who would actually benefit from portraying this government as being effective against crime? I think not. In fact, most major police departments do have civilians among their ranks, but they serve as transparency advisors who review the information coming from the department to ensure that it is fair and accurate. If transparency is the goal, then why not leave the professionals to their jobs like they always have and hire transparency advisors with real legal experience to oversee them? Just saying. So, if you ask me, putting civilians to lead the police PR department is pretty stupid. Moving on to our Uncut News viewers poll question of the day. Every day we pose a question about current events in the nation, the region, the diaspora, and how you feel it relates to us. So, you give your responses in the comments, and we'll read the best ones in the following episode. Yesterday's question was, how should we respond to the culture of disrespect present among big businessmen in this country? Royal Unfaria said they have to go because we can't do the same thing in their country because they'd send us back. Carl Smith said, before any contracts are signed, the government should have foreign investors pass a test to demonstrate they understand our labor standards. Next, the minister and senior administrative officials stop taking bribes from foreigners who want to do business in Guyana. That would stop the iPass. And finally, Grant said, in many countries like Thailand, if a foreigner disrespects any citizen or the Thai government, God help them. They will be in for a beating, and the authorities will prosecute them, not save them. Guyanese should have the same civic pride. As for government officials trading their power for money, China has the death penalty for corrupt government officials and businessmen. Guyana should too. I do not disagree with that assessment at all, Grant. So for tonight's question, tell me why you think eliminating the NGSA is a good thing or a bad thing. Think about that question and tell us in the comments below. If your response is good enough, we just might feature it in our next episode. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Check us out on Monday for another. Until then, I'm Rico Bulford saying, have a great weekend. And as always, don't drink and drive, or you'll end up on Monday's episode the hard way. Ha-ha! Good night, folks. Hey, Uncut News viewers, thanks for watching. You can subscribe by clicking on this button over here, or click over there for more news. You can also drop a comment to let me know if you've made it to the end of the video. Goodbye for now.